Hey gang, so your loved one has a birthday coming up and the person in question is a crocheter, but you're not a crocheter and you have no idea what kind of products are out there on the market. I got you. Today I'm gonna give you a list of my personal gift recommendations for a crocheter. This also works for a knitter or anybody who works in fiber arts. The second gift is actually sponsored by Hooks and Needles and it's perfect, so buckle up. Starting off with the absolute best one, a yarn winder. The most inconvenient, annoying thing as a crocheter is unwinding the yarn. It doesn't just unwind smoothly. It's bouncing and rolling and it's falling off the table and it's super distracting. You have to always stop and like unwind manually. If your project's not going well, having the yarn ball like roll off the table and onto the floor or like fall into your coffee is just like the absolute last straw. The solution to that is to do a center pull. So essentially you're finding the other end of the yarn, which is hidden inside the ball. If you pull from the center, it prevents the ball from rolling. The issue is finding that tail. Like you really have to dig your fingers in and perform like a surgical operation. And oftentimes it causes the yarn ball to just prolapse and explode. And then you're left with this huge tangle. And now you have more problems than if you just pulled from the outside. So a yarn winder is going to fix that for you. What it does is it allows you to rewind your yarn. It turns these yarn balls into these cakes that have an easy center pull. So it solves that problem. So it has a flat top and bottom. So they're super stackable, super easy to store. A yarn winder is also just super fun to use and it makes starting a new project really exciting. So this is definitely like my #1 recommendation and I wish I had one. The next one is a craft kit, and not just any craft kit. I've actually spoken about craft kits in the channel and I've said don't buy one because they're cheap and generic and just not very good. I'm not talking about those ones. I am talking about a subscription box from the sponsor of this video, Hooks and Needles. So with a Hooks and Needles subscription, they send you these monthly packages filled with high quality craft materials. You get a booklet of surprise patterns that you can choose from, and they have varying levels of difficulty, so you can go easy or challenge yourself. So this kit that I'm opening now is the one that you receive 6 months into your subscription. I'm going to show you the patterns real quick. There's this coaster, this case for all of your crafting materials, and there's this table runner. I'm probably going to make the coasters. This month's yarn is Cotton Reef in color 13. Each box also comes with a free gift. Oh, wait. Stop. No, okay, so the monthly gift for, crafting charms, and they're so cute. Oh, I love these scissor ones. Wait. Oh my god. Look at these little scissors. Are you kidding me? Wait. There's also like a little needle and thread. These are adorable. Holy. Okay, I love these scissor ones, but there's also like a yarn ball. There's a needle. This one's probably my favorite, the little safety pin. I'm gonna plaster these like all over my bags and my clothing and just be so annoying with these. In addition to the patterns, you also get a glossary of stitches and a newsletter. You get a recipe of the month. Each project also has video tutorials for you to follow along. So this is really great for learning new stitches and discovering new project ideas. I am a crocheter, so I would get the crochet kit. Hooks and Needles also has kits for knitting, amigurumi, and now just patterns. I was skeptical at first, to be honest, because when Hooks and Needles reached out to me, I had had only poor experiences with craft kits. This one is definitely not the same concept as the ones that you find in like the craft section of a grocery store. These are curated with a lot of effort and the materials are high quality. So I truly do like these boxes. My favorite part is the surprise element, the fact that you don't know what's in the box until you open it. In my previous video, I actually had my boyfriend, who did not know crochet, test out one of these kits as a total crochet beginner. If you want a more comprehensive review of the subscription box and you also just want to watch a really fun video featuring my boyfriend,
I feel like you're getting it wrong.
To the camera. Oh. Do check that out. This is definitely a pricier gift. You are paying for curation and higher quality materials, which of course isn't always necessary. Like this is something you buy if you really want to splurge on somebody and really show your appreciation. I do have a discount code. You can use Liang20 and you get 20% off your first box. I will also leave a link in the description for you guys. But this box is absolutely perfect if your loved one is going through something more long-term. Maybe they're having a rough semester or a pregnancy, something along those those lines, I recommend you get them a subscription for maybe 6 to 9 months, something like that. It's really no strings attached, like you can cancel at any time. So if we actually take the Hooks and Needles subscription box, we can break this down into a series of individual gifts. For instance, a very good hook. Especially if your loved one has been complaining about their hands hurting, they likely don't have a very ergonomic hook. There are lots of good ergonomic hooks on the market, but I have one recommendation that I always give, and it is the Clover Soft Touch. I got the size G and I never looked back. This is the only hook that I use nowadays. I love the gold color. The handle is super comfortable. It's super sleek and lightweight. They are going to thank you so much for this because their hands won't hurt anymore. They're going to work faster. They're going to have a better time crocheting and doing what they love. The next one, of course, is good yarn. Pay attention to what kind of yarns they already use, what kind of colors they like, and get them a selection of that. Try to find out what kind of projects they're planning to do in the future and hook them up with some good yarn. And not just one ball, especially not if they're a crocheter, because crochet uses up a lot of yarn. Try to get them a whole selection, like a whole bundle. It doesn't have to be super expensive. There's lots of websites where you can buy yarn in bulk for a discounted price. I would suggest you put in a little bit more effort and curate a nice bundle with a color palette that you picked out by yourself. Something that was trending a while ago are these yarn bouquets, where it's basically a flower bouquet, but instead of flowers, it's yarn, and it's like nicely packaged as if it were a flower bouquet. I can absolutely get behind this idea. I think it's so cute. I think it's such a nice, loving gesture. I work with only acrylic yarn because that's just what my budget allows for. If somebody got me a bundle of like cotton or mohair or merino yarn, I think I would pass out and cry and throw up. The next one is patterns. Patterns are basically written tutorials for projects. Have they had their eyes on maybe a pattern on Etsy, but they've been hesitant to buy it because they don't know if they can make it or it's a little bit pricey? Go ahead and buy it for them. If you just go into craft stores, there's lots of pattern books that you can buy. There's lots of cheap ones on the internet. There's also free ones. So what I suggest is not only just buying them a pattern, but get them a couple, print them out, and put them in a nice little album for them. So you're making them like a little pattern book of your own. Try to pay attention to what kind of projects they like, which pattern designers they follow on their social media. A lot of times, if you bulk buy from the same creator, you'll get some sort of discount. So again, it doesn't have to be an expensive gift. Other small tidbits. So these are kind of stocking stuffers, if you will, kind of the little supplies that crocheters tend to lose very easily around their house. Stitch markers is a really good one. These are super useful. They're kind of like bobby pins, but in the context of crochet. They're super small and they're easy to lose. So chances are your loved one needs a restock. There's some really cute ones on the market. I saw these that were like in the shape of hearts. They don't look like much, but a little packet of stitch markers is a really sweet gesture. Another one is if they're just using standard household scissors, go ahead and get them some tapestry scissors. These are nicer because they are specifically made for cutting fiber. Safety eyes are another good one, the plastic eyes that you use to make plushies. Earring studs and jewelry hardware if they like to craft jewelry. You could even get them a new set of tapestry needles, because I'm gonna be honest, I do be losing my needles every once in a while. This next one I love. It is a journal. Get them someplace to keep their swatches and write about their projects. If they are more into like designing and pattern writing, a journal is a perfect place for them to brainstorm all their ideas. If you're an artist, there's just something about handwriting that is much better than typing on a computer. Like it just feels so, like you just feel so cool. Bonus points if you get them a journal that has like a fabric or even a crocheted cover or just any type of fiber influence so that it fits the theme of the craft. Like I think that would be such a flex, like owning a journal with a crocheted cover, and then like my friends would come over and they'd be like, oh my god, like you have a crocheted journal, like you have a journal made of crochet for your crochet projects. Like, are you kidding? Like, that's brilliant. Did I not cook with that gift idea? The next one is a reading lamp. If they often crochet in the evenings, I don't like having my overhead lights on, so it's super nice to just have a small little clip-on portable reading lamp. There's a lot of solutions for working in low light. I think a small lamp is just the best and simplest solution. If you want to get a little silly with it, you can also give them a headlamp, like for caving, like the one that's like a headband on your head. I've seen those and they're actually really useful. They're kind of funny. Like I think this is great if they have a sense of humor, but they're like also really functional. There's also these neck lamps. Like, it's kind of like a long wire and then a lamp on either side, and then it wraps around your neck. These personally don't work for me. They kind of hurt my shoulders and they fall off a lot, but I have heard good things about them from other people. At my crochet club, we actually have these, and people can just like pick them up and use them, and they are very popular. So this next one is a great alternative to the yarn winder, and it is a yarn holder. So this is something that you kind of impale your yarn ball onto like a kebab, and it helps you unravel the yarn because it spins as you pull the yarn with very little resistance. So just like the yarn winder, it mitigates that problem of the yarn ball rolling and bouncing everywhere because it holds the yarn in place. If you're undecided between a yarn winder and a yarn holder, I'd still go for the winder, but this is a good alternative, and I've seen some super cute ones on the market. Like, I saw this one that I love hearts. I know I just talked about like heart-shaped stitch markers, but I also saw a heart-shaped yarn winder that was absolutely adorable. It's just cute, okay? If you're my boyfriend and you're watching this video, but the point is, a lot of these things you can get and they're not only functional, but they can also be really cute. Okay, so this next one is a little bit different, and it is to hand make something for them using their craft. So do they have like another hobby, or do you just have a gift idea that's unrelated to crochet or knitting? I suggest you get them that gift in another niche, but you like crochet something and then you like add it on. So for instance, I don't know, maybe they want a pair of shoes. You can get them that, and then on the card that you write for them, stick on a little crochet heart. I just realized this is my third time mentioning hearts. I'm sorry, I'm in a heart mood. The point is, a great gift is just to show that you put a little bit of effort into learning their hobby and understanding it so that you can better understand them. Just something small, like crochet a small bracelet as a supplement to a larger gift. And this is not difficult, even if you don't know crochet. Like, you can just crochet a chain and then connect it, and then it's a little bracelet. I will link some very easy tutorials in the description. This next one is great if you are handy, and it is to build them a crochet shelf, a place where they can store all of their supplies and display their finished projects. So many crafters, including myself, kind of just have their yarn stash shoved into a box in a random corner of their house. I think that the materials that allow you to do a hobby that you love deserve some sort of spotlight in your home. So if you can make that happen, that's an incredibly meaningful gift. You don't even need to build a shelf from scratch. You can also just buy one, like a good old calyx, those like grid ones from IKEA. I have one of those and they're a classic. So yarn shelf. Okay, this next one I actually spoke about in a previous video, and it is compression gloves. I actually talked about compression gloves in a previous video where I was essentially talking about things that you shouldn't buy, and maybe that was the wrong video to talk about my take on them, because I'm not against the use of compression gloves. If anything, I really encourage them. I just want to reiterate what I said in that video, and it's that I don't think compression gloves should be the first resort when your hands are in pain. I think pain prevention should come before pain reduction. So if you're crafting and your hands start hurting, you shouldn't put on compression gloves and continue crafting, but you should stop crafting if you have the means. That being said, I still encourage the use of compression gloves as a preemptive measure. I think they can be worn before, during, and after crafting. They are really beneficial and effective. The one situation where I don't think they should be used is when you're crafting without them and then your hands are in pain. Like, you shouldn't put them on and continue crafting, but you should take a break instead if you have the means. If your loved one often complains about their hands hurting, if they have chronic pain, if they crochet for a living and they don't really have the means to take a break, this is an excellent gift, let alone just an excellent gift in general. So in that video where I talk about compression gloves, I also mention a bunch of gadgets that I personally do not want and I wouldn't want somebody to buy for me. If you want to see a list of possible gift ideas that might work but are also sort of gimmicky, you can check that video out, but just proceed with caution with the things I mentioned there. People gave some really good input in the comment section there, so read the comments carefully. I'm not saying that anything in that video would make a bad gift necessarily, but that can be the case for some people, such as myself. And if you are absolutely out of ideas, they have every single gadget under the sun, I would say go ahead and just gift them a gift card from their favorite go-to craft store. If you're in the US, it's probably Michael's, Joan's, Hobby Lobby. I'm here in the Netherlands. We have Stephen and Penelope, or even some big box stores like Action, TK Maxx, or Hema. I usually just go to the thrift store. I don't know if They have gift cards for the thrift store. Point is, if somebody really didn't know what to buy me and they just got me a gift card for a craft store, I would still appreciate the gesture just as much. So those were a list of some gift ideas that I thought of. These things I wouldn't buy for myself because they're not necessary to own as a crafter, but I would appreciate them as gifts. If you have any more ideas or questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you Hooks and Needles for sponsoring it, and I hope to see you guys next week.